Welcome to Mike's apartment, where we explore cuisine, alcohol, and a little bit of comedy along the way. I am Mike, and I am here with my co-host Thom. How's it going, Thom?
Going good.
Uh,
Gonna be chilling here with some drinks. Got my beautiful German Shepherd just sleeping next to me. It's nice when she's calm. I have to work with her on that sometimes. Just to, you know,
Keep
she
it
gets super
down.
excited.
Well, tonight we will be exploring a very popular drink, BuzzBallz, and our geeky topic tonight is Star Trek Voyager, specifically an exploration of the character of Captain Kathryn Janeway, played by actress Kate Mulgrew. All right, Thom, let's dig into the drinks first. So we tonight's not going to be 100% even of a review because BuzzBallz has a lot of different flavors. I have four different ones, and Thom has four different ones. They're all different from each other. However, I would like to give an tonight. I would like to give an aggregate review number. So, Thom, I'd like to put us together on it so we come up with one number tonight. Just a little bit different because we have eight in total. We have two people and eight different drinks. So it's kind of, we got to come up.
Kind of hard to do a rating. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't review. I mean, we could review every one of them, but I think for just giving an overall, like, whatever we can do for the review. But all right,
hmm
Thom, let's dig into it. What can you tell us about BuzzBalls?
Okay. So you actually told me about some of this. So I had a little bit of a spoiler that this wasn't an E&J Gallo product. But so BuzzBallz is a range of U.S. owned ready to drink cocktail mix currently manufactured by the Sazerac Company, Inc. Originally devised as a master's degree project, it was incorporated as BuzzBallz LLC and markets itself as a woman owned and family run business. It was acquired by Sazerac in 2024. The company manufactures a wide range of beverages sold domestically and internationally and describes itself as a distillery, winery, and brewery of the state of Texas.
Ooh.
And then a little bit of the history to get
Well,
more into
well,
what you, because you
remember
mentioned the
everything's
master's.
yep, everything's bigger in Texas, right, Thom?
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? I gotta get down there and get some steak. Oh, but originally devised as a college project by Marilee Kick. I hope I'm saying her last name right. It's spelled Kick. Could be Key.
Possible.
I don't know. But anyways, project by Marilee Kick in Dallas, Texas, while working on a high school teaching degree. The company launched in 2009 and expanded as a family-owned enterprise with the assistance of her sons. Um, I could go on, but let me see. What are some interesting facts? In 2024, Sazerac is a U.S. owned private company owned by Chairman William Holdring and with an estimated net worth of $3.9 billion dollars.
Wow.
The concept of the drink originated from the shape of of a spherical glass.
Well,
So
that's definitely true.
yeah,
Mostly,
that's that. Yeah,
it's not a
even
perfect
the
sphere,
bigger,
but it's
even the 1.7 milliliter bottles were spherical.
yeah,
But
definitely pretty cool. Well,
but
so that's so, and I believe too, it's like 51% or more. It is a woman,
owned.
female owned and operated company, like 51% or more. So they're, I don't honestly, I don't remember. It's some there's some council like the North American something council that they're on that they're allowed. You're only allowed to be on that if you're 51% or more um,
Women owned.
owned
Okay.
and or led by women. Which brings us to our topic tonight. Captain Janeway, the first and only main, in a main Star Trek show to be she's the only female captain. What I do know, I think it came out in 1995 and ran for 7 seasons. It was obviously, you know, I think some people are a little bit too hard on Voyager. some people that you and I know, actually, some mutual friends of ours, even they don't
I'm gonna
they're
start
not
on
big.
it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So which one are you starting on? Let's take a look.
I'm starting on the one I'm least excited about, pineapple jalapeno.
Ooh, that actually. Ooh, I wish I had that one. I don't. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna start with the espresso martini, and we'll just see. I mean,
Smells
obviously,
pretty good.
I would think that sounds good. Actually, it sounds better than the ones that I have. I didn't even. I don't think I even saw that flavor at the store. But ooh, this is. It
You're
actually
gonna be
smells
up all
good.
night with that,
I
aren't
don't.
you?
I don't know that this actually has any caffeine. It might just be the flavor. I believe they're all 15% alcohol. So
The ones I got are, yeah.
yeah, we're so just so everyone knows, we're doing a review tonight. So we're gonna try to, if Tom and I just chugged all of these, I don't know how great the review would be towards the end, and we'd probably be going for 4 hours. So Tom can do as he wishes, but I'm gonna just take a few sips of each just to try to
I,
give it
I,
up. You
I
know,
think I'll finish all of them, but I might kind of do the same thing. Well, because I don't think these are carbonated, so I don't think it's a problem
no,
opening all of them.
no,
But
I don't think they are. Well, here, cheers, my friend.
cheers. All
Salute.
right.
Hmm, it's actually good. Espresso martini. That pretty much. Ooh, wow. Oh wow. So
Yeah.
I tasted it at first. Definitely espresso, like flavored. I don't know that there's actually caffeine. I'm not 100. So don't quote me on this, anyone. I don't know if there's caffeine or not, but it tastes like espresso, but it zings at the end like a little martini. Oh wow, these are a
I
little
uh
strong.
I got a reaction from Susie. Like her head popped up, her nose was going like this. It's like, yeah, it's just
Oh,
like pointing her nose at my drink here.
is
Look,
she
see that?
20? Is she 21 or older? No.
Let me
she oh,
see. She was 2 when I adopted her in 23, so she's like 4 now.
so that's
Times
28.
7,
Yeah, so 28.
she can have some.
Yeah, I like this one. It's not bad. If you like an espresso kind of taste and that zing of martini at the end, I could taste it. I don't know olives. No olives in this
Yeah,
martini.
yeah,
But
no.
but it's definitely.
How would you rate it?
Oh
Like,
God. Let me.
I'm think I'm thinking it's pretty good. I'm thinking like for me maybe like a 3.5 or maybe a little
Well, so
higher.
we'll if we have some new viewers, we'll kind of cover the rating system here. Mike's apartment scale is 5 at the top. That's ambrosia, food of the gods. It's the best of the best. 0 is shit of the gods. It's just crap. It's not good at all. Now, and here's the thing too. We say aggregate as if we're gonna like remember the numbers. I would like to do a more. Let's do a more holistic approach. We can rate them, but our overall ratings don't necessarily have. It could change, and they don't have to be like an exact average of what we taste. I think at the end, so we'll give each one a rating, but just so everyone knows, we're not mathematically going to figure out exactly everything. It's more of a feeling thing. We're gonna put our numbers together at the end and just kind of like feel, because we might change our minds based upon you know as we go through and taste it. So this is
Yeah.
this is a holistic rating, not a scientific or mathematical one. It's how Tom and I feel, okay? We make up the damn numbers, all right? It's all subjective here, but we're trying to give our main goal here though is to give our audience, all of you, a good attempt. And I would say, okay, so let's talk about this. I'm going to not necessarily give it a rating yet. I'm going to just say I like it. If you like espressos, if you want a triple espresso, and again, I am not sure if there's, I don't feel, and it's kind of strange because, sometimes you can't always feel it. I don't feel any caffeine. So I think for like a late night beverage, like let's say you don't want to stay up all night because you're hopped up on caffeine. I don't know for sure, but I would say you could probably drink some of this without it being too whatever. But
I,
that's
I
all I'm going to have with
yeah.
that one.
I am noticing. Well, it's kind of going away now, but I did notice after a couple minutes of while you were talking that the jalapeno started to kind of kick in.
Ooh,
So
God.
I think
What did you say that one was? Mango jalapeno? What did you
no,
say
it
it was?
was pineapple
Ooh,
jalapeno.
I want to try it. God, I wish they had that one. I'm telling you, I looked. I would have grabbed that one if it had been available. That one sounds really. I'm really jealous of you, Tom. I might have to come to Minnesota to try to find that one, or find another store here that has that flavor. I'm almost
When I move
certain we
in on
do.
your couch, I'll bring a case.
Hey, bikes. Hey, actually, we got a bedroom here, so actually,
Eh,
this room. As long as you don't mind me on my computer while you're sleeping. Um, um,
yeah. I think
um,
I'm gonna. What are you gonna do next?
let me see here. So my choices are chalk teas, which I guess is a chocolate one. I got Lotta Colada, which I guess is probably some kind of pina colada thing. And then I got Strawberry Rita, which is like a probably a margarita one. This one has
This one,
tequila.
I'm kind of jealous of you on that one.
Which one?
The
Margarita?
strawberry one.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
do that one next then. Here, let's open up a
I'm
second
gonna
one here.
I'm gonna do the passion fruit martini.
That one sounds good too. Damn. You got all the good ones. Not that I'm saying, we kind of smells like I know they're not carbonated. This one kind of smells like a strawberry soda, like a Fanta. Want
Oh,
a
really? Oh,
Fanta? Don't you want a
on
want a Fanta? Oh wait, we don't have any sponsors. Sorry guys. Fanta does
that was
not
not
endorse
that
this.
was not a yeah. That's not a paid ad.
That
Okay,
that that was
and
a spontaneous.
we're drinking something that's not Fanta, so I don't think they would sponsor it.
Yeah, I
All
don't
right,
know.
all right.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. All right.
Oh, you're right. That one
I
is
could,
good.
oh, I could chug that. Mm.
Oh, these are pretty tasty. I will say, I mean, all right, I can already tell you. Guys, you got to try at least one of them at some point in your life. I mean, these are not bad at all. These are pretty good so far. I mean, unless something goes horribly wrong with these other two, I would have to recommend and say, yeah, I mean, these are, again, we won't give it a number yet, but I would say I'm in the feeling range of, I like it. I mean, these are good. They're not bad. They're so nice. They're very chillaxing. Um, I bet you though they'll sneak up on you with the alcohol. My bet would be these would
Yeah.
these will probably hit you. So in about 15 minutes, Tom and I will be off the rails here. But hey, at least we'll give you a review. So let's sort of, I mean,
At least we're still on the wagon, right?
yeah, well, I think we left that wagon a long time ago, Tom. I don't know.
Yeah, back in Oregon Trail, that's where our wagon is. It's
Yeah,
in the river.
where I died
The
of
cow.
where I died of syphilis with my oxen. No, just kidding. I don't think so.
I think I died of dysentery or something. I don't know.
That makes dysentery makes more sense. I don't think you could actually get syphilis, and I don't think so. Anyways, I
Okay,
actually beat that game, but anyways,
I'm, you did. I'm putting that down.
all right. Oh, we're
Are
gonna
we gonna
start
move on to another one?
number 3. All right, I'll go.
I figure I'm thinking let's get the initial tastes
Sure.
of all four out of the way before we really get
All
into,
right.
so we don't have to stop Janeway
Yeah, this one
discussion.
is Lotta Colada. So it's probably a pina colada type flavor.
Okay, I can't read it now. Just a second here.
Now, Tom, do you like
Lime.
pina colada? Do you like
It's
dancing in the rain?
the colors are so bad. It's lime,
It looks. Hey,
Rita,
here, point it towards the camera a little bit
chiller.
more. Point it towards the camera. Let me see.
Yeah,
No,
maybe
move
you
it,
can
move
read
it, move it to your right. There you go. That's better. Yeah, lime Rita chiller. Yeah, looks good.
Okay.
Looks good.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It is like pina colada, and I do feel like dancing in the rain.
Oh,
if
geez.
it were raining,
That is very lime.
this
That's
is
good.
this is very colada. This is Lotta
I,
colada.
it's not. I don't think I could chug it quite as well as I might the passion fruit martini, but
Well, at the end of the day, you can chug anything. This is okay. Yeah, if you like pina colada, and I guess you can or cannot like dancing in the rain. Either way, this is pretty good. Yeah, this isn't bad. You want to try number 4?
Yeah, I think I'm filling up already on these.
Yeah, I know.
So
These
I've
are a little
got.
bit. Yeah, let's kind of. We'll be a little careful with these. They definitely will sneak up on you. They're
We're
strong.
doing a. I'm doing a sour apple chiller.
Ooh, that sounds good. I'm doing chalk teas. I feel teased. Here, let me. Ugh.
At least it's not a blue balls.
That may be one of the flavors we're not trying. Hopefully. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that tastes like a goddamn candy bar. This tastes like I just opened up like a Hershey's or something, like a pure, like nothing mixed in, just like a pure chocolate candy bar is what this tastes like.
Really?
It's not bad, and I like chocolate, so I don't know. This is good. It's
I
sweet.
think so. I think most of my experience with like
Ooh,
sour apple is like the Jolly Ranchers and stuff like that. This does not taste like the Jolly Ranchers that I was expecting,
damn
but
you!
it's still fine. It's probably my least favorite out of the four that I
Just is
tried.
it too sour? Would you say, or how would you?
I don't even notice the sour yet.
What is it? Does it
So
just taste like apple, or like a green
just a
apple?
minute. Just a minute.
Sure.
Okay, now I notice a little bit. Initially, as you take your drink, there's a little bit of sour on the front end, and it kind of fades out after like a few seconds. So
That seems to be the case with all of them. I would say that what you just described is, I think, all four of them. They all had like a front taste, and some of them, like for example, the espresso martini, that one definitely had a back taste. That one was like espresso, and then you actually could feel the two different modes. The other ones are a
yeah,
little bit more subtle than that, but like I said, the strawberry one is very sweet if you like a strawberry soda sort of, but good because I hate to say it, I do like sweet, so these are actually okay for me.
yeah, me too.
I'd say
Yeah,
my least favorite is the Lotta Colada, but that I don't think that's an indication that it's bad. I think it's just because I personally am not a fan of peanut. So maybe I shouldn't have grabbed that one to begin with, but I honestly I was trying to grab different ones than you. So I'd say my least favorite is the Lotta Colada. It's so if you like pina colada, you'd probably really like it. I just personally don't. I'd say my favorite. God, it's tough. I like the chalk teas because it's so sweet. It is like a candy bar. It's definitely like that. But I also like the espresso martini, just because. I mean, not super late at night because I'm an old man and I don't. I like to go to bed at some point. So if it had caffeine in it, I wouldn't be a fan. But I like in the middle of the day or the morning or something, I wouldn't mind an espresso. Fortunately, my work does not
so
have an espresso machine, just your standard coffee. But hey, this is pretty good though.
uh, my work only has the coffee maker that I have out in the kitchen.
You should charge them for. I'm just kidding. You should
Yeah.
get ask for some per diem on your caffeine. Say I need my daily caffeine per diem,
Oh, screw the caffeine. I need a per diem on the alcohol. It takes.
and
Yeah,
the
no, I'm
and the gummies to hear you tell about it. I don't
kidding.
I don't know that we'll ever. We could do. I have. I'll just be honest. I have tried THC gummies since they became legal. They're okay. I'm just not. Well, I'm not a fan of two things. First of all, I feel like it's an expensive kind of hobby
Yeah.
or something, especially that I can just do without. And I noticed towards the end of use, like at first when I was first using them, I was kind of using them to help me sleep a little bit and just kind of relax. So I was taking, is that the indica, the ones that relax you? Indica. So indica is
I
relaxing.
don't know. I
Sativa
don't
is
know.
the positive energy one. Well, whatever it is, I took the relaxing ones, and those helped at first. But towards the end, honestly, I was just getting like these headaches and stuff. And when I quit, I thought it was. So I went on a trip to Arizona last year, and I just went cold turkey. I stopped using the gummies, and I was so afraid that I was addicted and that I would notice something. I didn't at all. I went
Mhm.
off of them. There was no rebound. There was no like. It wasn't habit forming for. I mean, maybe I'm just unusual in that way. I mean, I don't know if that's the same for everyone, but I wasn't addicted to them. And once I went off of them, I don't know. never went back on them. I mean, that was like, God, 7 or 8 months ago since I've used one. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
I feel fine.
mean, you know my personal story. I won't go into it, but
Sure.
I've had a lot of life-changing events, over the last, say, like 5 years. And at one point, I was really struggling to. I could get to sleep. I would take like melatonin or whatever to help me get to sleep. But then making it through the night, I would wake up a lot from anxiety and stuff like that. So when they became legal and stuff, I don't know when they became legal. I don't remember, but I decided to try them out to help me make it through the night and get a good night's sleep. And so I've been taking them. Not, I mean, I sometimes I go a couple nights whatever without them, but I usually take them about an hour. After I get off of work, I take them. I work second shift, right? So
Sure.
I'm taking them at 9, 10 o'clock at night, depending on what time I get off of work. But and then I'll sit and watch some TV for a little bit and then go to sleep.
Well, I mean, they are legal, and I'm not totally against. We could, in a future episode, I would be. And hey, viewers, audience, here, listen to us for a second here. We are. I will be willing to go back on my THC sobriety for the interests of this show, and we could do a THC gummy
Or a
episode.
drink.
Or drink. Yeah, that's right. They have the drinks too. We could try
I've never
that.
tried the
I
Or
have.
we could smoke pot on YouTube and see
I
if we get demonetized before we're
I
monetized.
That's unfortunately that's a problem for me, Tom. I at a young I've never even really smoked an entire cigarette in my life. I tried when I was a kid, and I hacked up a
Yeah.
lung so bad that I never wanted to try it again. I actually can't smoke, but I would take a gummy with you, and we could describe that. But anyway, that would be a future show. If anyone's interested in seeing that, let us know.
Yeah.
Comment, subscribe. If you're on my Facebook or our Facebook channel, send us a DM. Um, we've gotten a lot of interesting DMs lately. We'll go into that later. But all right, focusing back. I know it's difficult for
Kathryn
us.
Janeway.
All right, so let's just as we go through the show, we'll just continue to
Oh, whoa,
drink
whoa,
what we
oh,
want. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
sorry. We've already tried all four of these. We forgot to give the rating for anybody who just wants that
Okay,
up
you
front.
give a. Let's both just give an overall rating for the four that we have, and
Yeah.
then we'll sort of put them together. So, what would you say? Well,
Okay.
out of the four, how would you rate all
So
of them?
so some of them were over 3.5. This
Ooh,
one is probably like a 3. So I think I would maybe just average out to 3.5
okay,
stars.
okay. Um, three and a half,
Possibly
three and a
like
half.
like I.
They're not stars. The 3.5 mics. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
kidding. I'm kidding. That's not.
3.5 apartments.
Yeah, 3.5 apartments. I'd say about the same. Honestly, like you said, some of these, like I said, that I really actually out of the four, I think three of them I like all about the same for different reasons. I really like the chalk teas because it's sweet like a candy bar. I like the strawberry Rita because it's sweet like a strawberry soda. And I like the espresso martini for two reasons. I like that first hit of espresso and then that follow up of that little. It's like a secondary hit of martini, and it's like, wow. I do not care. Excuse me. Pardon me. I do not care for the Lotta Colada very much, but again, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from that flavor. I think it's just because personally, I don't want to dance in the rain. I'm sorry. I don't want to pina colada. It's okay. I mean, it's all right. It's all right. So I would say about the same. Maybe I'd go more like 3.25. I wouldn't say 3.5, but 3.25 more. It's definitely overall okay. So let's just say it all out here, guys. These are good. Go to the store, whatever store you have by you. Just try a flavor that you already kind of know that you like, and try it. These are not bad. They're not just a gimmick. I wouldn't say they're not just like a spherical shaped can. Well, they're not even perfect spheres, but they're kind of circular. You know, they're not just like a gimmick. They actually have good flavor. Like there is definitely these. That what did you say? Her name was Kick. What was the lady's name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She did a good job.
Meryl Marilee Kick. Yeah.
Marilee
Well, I think.
Kick, she's an innovator, definitely, and I think she did a great job with the formulation. And I don't know how much she. I mean, obviously, I mean, you said it was
Well,
her
she
thesis
was.
for high school, so I don't
Well,
know.
well, no, not for high school. She was getting a teaching degree,
Oh, so
and
she was
and
going to
her,
teach at the high school level, right? So she was
yeah,
teaching
yeah.
high schoolers.
It's a high school teaching degree is what it says,
Ooh,
and that was 2009. And her sons helped her. I don't know. I didn't read any more than that. So
that's fine.
maybe there's more information about maybe she partnered with somebody to formulate the drinks or whatever. I don't
Well,
know.
all I can
But
say is I think they did a good. Whoever, you know,
yeah,
and if it's and I also support female led
yeah,
companies and everything. I mean, this is definitely, and despite it doesn't really matter who made them. They're good to drink. They taste. They're genuinely
yeah.
good. Like I would say, the flavor. They're not just like a gimmick with a weird can shape or something. They have. I like these. I can see why they're worth. How many billion? You said like 4 billion is how much the company's worth. I can.
No, it's about that. I think it's yeah, it's 3.9
Yeah, yeah,
billion.
almost 4 billion. I mean, I can see why they're definitely they got some flavor here. And you know what? And I believe I purchased all four of these for $17, for less than 20
Yeah,
bucks. I got enough drinks here to mess myself up for the night. So
yeah. I think I don't. I forget.
that's a
I
good
don't remember
deal.
what the exact price was, but I think it was like $2.50 to $3 per bottle.
Yeah, they're
Plus,
not
I mean,
bad.
plus Minnesota has the sin tax.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I'm in
so
Missouri. We have no such tax. They just expect us to sin.
well,
We have a lower sales tax
in
here.
in a way, I guess I'm also in misery that there's extra
Oh,
money associated with drinking. But
I'm in deep Missouri. Never say that when
actually,
you're here.
okay, maybe I just
Missouri.
should maybe I shouldn't say misery because I don't want to end up as a writer. I don't want to end up tied to a bed with my foot getting cut off by some evil nurse that is my biggest fan.
Well,
Not to reference any specific book that might be named Misery.
do this show long enough, and you might be surprised at the people that. Anyways, all right. Let's move back.
Oh man,
All right. Star Trek Voyager. Captain
Captain
Janeway.
Janeway.
I'll go over a little bit what I said before too, just to say it again. 1995 through I think 2001, 2002, whatever it is. It ran seven. It got a full 7 seasons. Um, it was not. It may have been like while its runtime, it may not have been super popular. I think after the show, aired and had been on reruns on Sci-Fi Channel and whatever else at the time.
Well, it was on UPN. It
Yeah.
started on
Oh, yeah. You're
UPN.
right. You're right. Yeah, it did. And it was. I think at the time it wasn't largely whatever, but if you go back and watch it, and especially Kate Mulgrew, the actress who played Kathryn Janeway, I think it was pretty good. Now, one thing a lot of people don't know is that before Kate Mulgrew, they actually had already casted a female captain. I don't remember her name. She did not work out. I believe she was only on the set for one day, and I guess she just couldn't. She couldn't hack it. So,
What?
yeah, there was
I
some
wonder what
lady.
happened. I mean,
I think she just was not big on the science fiction, and I think that
oh really?
whoever I don't remember her name. We can go, yeah, guys. We can Google this later. But yeah, there was an act that the role of Captain Janeway was cast to another actress, and she was actually on the set for exactly. I think it was exactly one day, if I remember correctly, or if it was a few days, it was only a few days. They didn't have very much filming done, but she just couldn't she couldn't do it. I think here's the other thing too to
Okay.
remember. I think a lot of people on Star Trek they don't realize this. Those talent roles are demanding, like 16 hours a day on the set, like, and they have to be filming like it is a demanding filming schedule. It's not for the
Okay.
lighthearted.
Yeah.
I mean they're on that
No.
set like all
Yeah.
day for days on end, and they changing
I've heard
clothes.
similar. I've heard similar stories about how grueling it is to film, like say, Doctor Who.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
one thing that I thought of when you mentioned that she didn't like sci-fi or whatever, I kind of had a flashback to what was his name? Alec Guinness played Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Oh, yep, yep.
Yeah, and I seem to remember there being an interview with him saying, "Well, I don't like sci-fi." And I think they had to do more and more to get him to come back for the episodes 5 and 6. But
Well, I
and then
believe
the
he's
sixth,
passed away now, though, isn't he? He's
yeah, he is now. I
yeah.
just remember in the sixth episode, a review show I watch, they were kind of laughing because they like he sat down on a log to talk to Luke, and they're like, he's like a force ghost. How does he sit on a log? It's like he's a
He's
ghost.
he's
He's
just
incorporeal.
he's making Luke feel comfortable. No, I don't know. Anyways, back
Yeah. Back to
back to
sorry,
Star Trek. Yeah.
I derailed things.
How dare you switch from Star Trek to Star Wars on this
And
show?
I'm
Just
still
kidding.
pissed off that Fox canceled Firefly.
If anyone has not seen our previous episode, feel free to watch. All right, so back to Star Trek a little bit more. And back to maybe just science fiction in general, or even like space fantasy. I think a lot of people don't realize it, and maybe it turns some people off, and maybe it turns some people on. But a lot of people don't realize like it's always a vehicle for another kind of show. It's drama, it's a romance, it's a comedy, it's there's always something. Science fiction, like just pure science fiction, would probably only be of interest to some academic, people. Most people who watch it, it's always guised in some other type of show, is what I would say in general about science fiction. It's always about something else. And I would say, so what was Voyager? Out of all the Star Treks, it was the most cerebral. Like, it was the most. Janeway, and I don't know if you knew this or not, her background was before she went into command as a captain, she was a science officer. And she had a strong science background. If you watch Parallax or any of the episodes where she's with Seven of Nine and they go back and forth on the science gig, Janeway was the only captain that was on a main show to have been a science officer before she went into command. And that was
That
the
seems
thing.
like it was a good call. I liked her. I don't remember. I've forgotten a lot of the stuff that happened in various episodes, whatever. But no, I just seem to. I love. I look. I wish I had cable growing up. I could only watch that when it's over at friends' houses. But
Me too.
no, I just. I really did like her as a captain. As much as apparently there's a controversy. People don't like her. A lot of people don't like her. She's like the least favorite or something. I don't know, captain.
Well, I think it's because
Uh,
it was how strong she came on. I think,
and I think
especially in the
people felt like
90s. Yeah.
they might have been pushing feminism or whatever. It's like, uh,
I didn't
I
feel
don't
like
know.
that. I didn't feel like that. I felt like she was very. God, I don't. People say that. I didn't. I never got that impression though, Tom. I never felt like she was pushing an agenda, or I never felt like that. I felt like
I
she
didn't.
was as she was, right? Like she just that's
I
how
think I think when I mentioned the feminism thing, what I was referring to was more of a
other people
oh
thinking. Yeah,
we've all yeah well yeah like
not what you
and
thought, but
people
yeah.
and people who maybe didn't even watch the show, they're just thinking, oh, captains are supposed to be men. This is feminism. It's gonna kill our country. Or whoops, sorry.
You just
I
dropped the camera, dude.
I, I I put my foot down. I had my legs crossed, and I put my foot down, and whoops.
My God, Tom.
Sorry, I have a Surface Pro. I gotta fix here.
No more
But anyways,
drinks for that man. No, I'm just kidding.
I put my foot down, and accidentally, my heel caught my
Well,
cord, of my headphones.
that will
So
teach you to stop being so misogynistic about putting your foot down when there's a female captain, Tom. Don't put your foot down around her. She puts her foot down on you. You're her couch.
Kathryn Janeway was fine, but I really think that they would have done better with a male captain. Uh, oh no, did I say
Also
that?
named Janeway. Named John Janeway. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No. Kelly Janeway.
Yeah,
How about that? Because
Kelly.
it starts with a K. So does Kathryn, right? And
Sure.
Kelly can be male or female. Oh wait, no, that could be
So,
identity
well,
politics.
but let's kind of go back a little bit too. I mean, again, this started in 1995. So I would say that at the
Yeah.
time too, how the audiences were and how viewers were. I mean, yes, by today's standards, audiences back then probably would be considered misogynistic. I'm not accusing anyone here, and I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying, like, 1995, mid 90s, that was, the movement, the whole, I mean, feminism was still a thing back then, definitely, but having such a strong female lead was a little bit different for a show at that time. And some people thought that she was just filling a role, like she was just doing a thing. But I will say this: I always felt comfortable. I always felt comfortable with Janeway, like telling Chakotay what to do, or Tuvok, or Neelix, or any of the other characters. And she also seemed, again, she had the strong. She wasn't just the female captain. She had that strong science background, which allowed her. She could comment. So, like, if you take like the original series with Spock as like the science officer, it was like if Spock were the captain, is kind of how I think of Janeway a bit. She's very academic, very scientific, and she could have the conversations. She could understand things. What else was she known for? Coffee drinking. She talked about in the
Oh
academy how
yes.
she had the all night sessions with coffee, and then in the show, what was the show? Think Tank. Remember the one with Jason Alexander? George from Seinfeld. He played the alien character. George.
Yeah.
Jason. The
I
actor's name is Jason
I
Alexander.
people are gonna hate me
You
for
don't.
this,
You've not
but
seen
I
that
have
episode.
no. I haven't. I haven't seen most of Seinfeld because because
George.
when I was growing up, when I was growing up, we didn't have cable. We had CBS. Uh,
I think Seinfeld was
sometimes
NBC, wasn't it?
sometimes PBS because
Sometimes
that went
PBS.
in and out. Because we had an
Sometimes PBS.
so so Mike, do you remember when you had to have an antenna on your TV to be able to watch
Yes.
TV? So I don't know
Well,
if
I
our
had to
viewers will
um
be
I
aware of
had to
what it
sneak
was.
I had to sneak the Next Generation. I did have a color TV, but it was not great, and it was all kinds of static. This is before TV was great. I had to wait till my parents fell asleep, and then there was two back-to-back Next Generation episodes, one at 9 p.m. and one at 10 p.m. I always stayed up till 11 to watch them all. I think I also was watching, like, was it Hercules and Xena were like big at the time? I don't remember them all. But I was watching a bunch of
Oh,
shows without my parents' permission. But anyways, long story short, I always loved Star Trek. But back to Voyager a little bit. So let's see. All night coffee sessions. She had when they ran out. So remember too, they had the replicator rations because they were low on power. Doesn't
mm,
make a lot of sense when you think that they have total matter energy convert. Like if you remember in the episodes like Next Generation, they talked about it. The warp engine is total matter energy conversion, which means they can just take anything like hydrogen, for instance, the most common element in the universe, and convert it into, any, like they could turn it into a replicator food.
Mike, they're in the Delta Quadrant. All the
Yes,
physics are different.
correct. Well, yes. But they tried to make a point of it. So yeah, replicator rations were a thing
Yeah,
for different
yeah.
parts of the show. Sometimes they got it back though. But yeah, she had to go without coffee. It was one of the hardest things that she gave up. Some days I don't really blame her. I need my coffee too. I think we all can kind of relate. What else about Janeway made her more personable? She had different relationships. She kind of almost had her first. So that was the other thing too. Here's the cool setup, right? Starfleet and the Maquis. Now the Maquis were
Oh
a group
yeah,
of
yeah.
former Federation officers and citizens who were in like the Bajoran. Well, but Bajor was kind of against the Cardassians too, but the Cardassians and the Federation made a treaty that drew a line. Well, the Federation citizens that were left on the Cardassian side were oppressed by the Cardassians, trying to force them to move out, murdering, raping, pillaging, all that stuff. And so they had to take care of themselves. So they formed the Maquis, which are kind of like an underground, like almost like a criminal kind of group of all those former colonists from the Federation who rose up to fight the Cardassians. Well, there were episodes, I believe the first episode was in like Next Generation, where Picard had to go negotiate something with the Cardassians. Or what was that thing? The four lights. There are four lights. Anyways,
that
was when he was tortured.
The four lights. So
that was a Cardassian guy who was torturing him, though.
But that he was taken. Picard was taken off the Enterprise to do this covert mission or whatever, and then the Kardashians, whatever, like kidnapped him.
Not Kardashians. I think Kim would take up issue with that. Anyway, I'm just kidding with you.
Well, I'm drinking a girly drink, so I could say Kardashian. Well, I don't know what you're.
Well, Kim Kardashian kidnapped Picard, tortured him with her looks. No, I'm just kidding.
So Khloe Kardashian's like tormenting Picard about the four lights. And I'm kidding.
And
anyways,
then remember what was the captain's name? The other captain that Riker butted heads with. What was his name?
I can't think of his name, and I can't think of the actor's name. But he played the big bad guy in RoboCop, the first RoboCop movie.
I didn't know that.
And also Running Man.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah.
The Schwarzenegger Running Man,
yep.
yeah, not the what's his name? So I can't think of. God dang it. Anyways,
it's okay. I can't remember the names either.
I'm trying to get back on track here. So anyways, the new captain, he'd been butting heads, like you said. You said he was butting heads with Riker.
Yeah, because Riker was more used to a late. Oh, he also butted heads with Troy. Oh. Remember Troy was wearing the dress thing, and he's like, "You will wear a Starfleet uniform in front of." I was like,
and after that, she started wearing a traditional uniform, and then she also, when she found out her rank, she didn't know what her rank was, whatever, in a later episode, and.
Well,
okay. You know what? We're getting off. I'm getting off.
Yeah, we're going to Next Generation here. All right. So, anyways, we're just describing the Maquis. So the Maquis were the former Federation citizens on the Cardassian side of the border that were fighting the Cardassians, right? They were the Cardassians. If anyone doesn't know, they're they have the grayish kind of skin, and they have the very prominent skeletal thing. They're known. How would you describe them? They're oppressive, but they're very they're very friendly to the government, but they root out any kind of thing. I would say, without going too much into it, let's just say this. The Maquis, they were kind of criminals. But what happened was what was it called? Let's just say the aliens. The aliens from the Delta Quadrant, the main one, the male guy, was looking for a female of another species to breed with because he couldn't reproduce, and he kept bringing different species from all across the galaxy, including the Alpha, Beta. Most of the Star Trek shows take place in the Alpha and Beta quadrant. But he was in the Delta Quadrant, so he brought many ships over, including Voyager, right? Now, he brought over Voyager, but Voyager at the time, Tuvok was a double agent on Chakotay's ship. So Chakotay was the main Maquis guy. So Tuvok was on the ship, and he was secretly working for Janeway. Yeah, he was a spy for Janeway. And then he, betrayed them. But they were like running, through whatever section of the galaxy, she was chasing them, and the alien, let's just say the Delta Quadrant alien, brought them there. None of them. He was too weak though to send them back necessarily, and they had that whole it wasn't a holodeck, but that alien was very powerful and quite capable of making illusions and things like that. So, anyways, the two crews had to get together. Now, after that, I'll let everyone watch the initial pilot, which is I think it's 2 hours long. It's a two-part show. So you can kind of see how they get together. But actually, even in the first season, they show a lot of conflict between the two. But eventually, the crews. So unlike we've talked about Gene Roddenberry's vision of the future, which is where kind of everyone gets along. Well, Voyager went against the grain on that. There was internal conflict. It was I think Deep
All of
Space
them
Nine
after that went out with that, didn't they? Because like the
next
next gen
Deep
after
Space
like he
Nine.
was not involved, and then you had Deep Space Nine, you had Voyager, Enterprise. They had conflict with
I
the
would
crew.
say Voyager was probably though, and that's kind of what we're talking about it. Voyager was the most prominent in that they had two different crews that had to merge together,
Mhm.
two different ways. Some like so Chakotay, we won't go too much into him. He was sort of other than how he relates to Janeway, which was in some episodes he was almost a romantic counterpart, but they couldn't. Janeway couldn't let the relationship get too serious because they're in another quadrant. They have to maintain command things. So talking about, we'll kind of skip over that. So that's the premise for the show. If anyone doesn't know, it's two different crews being transported to a different quadrant. That's very
Space.
different. It's
Yeah,
it's about another common theme: isolation. There for most until they get the Pathfinder project going, which is later, I think sixth season or something. They're cut off. They're cut off. There is
yeah.
no almighty
So,
federation or prime directive to tell them what to do. Janeway has to
so,
make the decisions, right? Go ahead.
so you said they're cut off. Just for our anybody who's watching this, how long if they're traveling at max warp with no stops for any reason? How long will it take them to get back to
70
the Alpha
years.
Beta? 7
70
was it?
years. Of course, they find a few shortcuts along the way, but yes, it would take
Yeah,
70 years for them at maximum warp to get back to the Alpha
yeah.
Quadrant. We're back to
And
Earth.
so
Let's just say, for some people, we'll just say that.
and so what I think what really prompted this conversation about Captain Janeway was was an unintended thing. I found a video. I think YouTube recommended a video to me about a Janeway like review, or it wasn't a review, but I mean they it was a person who liked Voyager's his favorite Star Trek show,
Okay.
and so he was talking about Kathryn Janeway specifically, who sometimes made decisions based on the Prime Directive, and sometimes she just a weird thing happened, and we can talk about this here if this is when you want to talk about it, Mike. But there were two characters who through a transporter accident were combined into
Oh,
one
God.
character.
That could almost use its own episode.
Yeah, yeah, it could because people are so pissed off
It's
about it.
still,
But
even to this day, it's controversial in
yeah,
like
right, yeah.
social media groups.
But so two people were through a teleporter accident or merged into one person, a new entity who has its own identity and a will to live. And there was a debate on the crew or whatever about whether to kill them and divide them back because they figured out how to separate them, but that would kill this new being. And so there's a whole debate about that, and if it was ethical or not. And why didn't Janeway say just do it, separate them back into Tuvok and Neelix?
Well, there was the thing. There was the whole. I think the last thing was they were on the bridge, and Tuvix was begging for his life. He was like, "Don't do this, please!" And she's like, "Take him away." He's like, "You know what this means." And she went like to all the characters, the other characters on the bridge, and she was like, or he was like, he's like, "Don't let them do this to me. I want to live. I want to live." She's like, "Take his ass away. I want those two. I want to have those two cast members back." No, I'm just. I don't think she didn't say
You know,
that.
I mean, it's a serialized TV show, and yeah, and of course, Telix was
Tuvix.
voted no, Neelix. Sorry, I
Oh,
said Telix.
Neelix. Okay.
Neelix was voted USA's most
No, no,
famous,
no,
most
no, no, no. You're
sexy
wrong.
actor.
Tom. No, you got it all
No,
wrong.
I'm being sarcastic. I'm
Okay.
being sarcastic. Okay,
That was Ensign Kim. It was Harry. It was Harry Kim who was voted
I know
1997's.
it was funny that there were two actors on the show who were voted most sexiest man in the U.S. But anyways,
All right, so
we're
back to
talking about sexy man.
All right, so let's skipping ahead from that episode. What other Janeway things? So there was another one where she went to a planet. They were all about pleasure. Now they had possibly the capability to send them further on their journey, but they refused to do so because they so similar. It was like it's like a reflection. So the Prime Directive usually is the Federation has a standard. If they come upon a more primitive, like a pre-warp civilization, they can't share their technology with them, right? Well, this time it was reversed. It was a more highly technological civilization that refused to share their technology with them. And Janeway made the decision. Now, here, back to Janeway, why this matters. Janeway made the decision. She's like, we have to abide by their rules. Even though they can help us get along, we can't. They've already said no to helping us, that it goes against their standards. And she's like, well, this is how it feels. All those primitive civilizations where we could like save all of them, this is how it feels to be on the receiving end of the Prime Directive. However, Tuvok and the other characters went against her, and they still went and stole the technology. Well, they found like another group on the planet, traded the technology. It proved to be incompatible.
Okay.
Like they couldn't, it wasn't compatible anyways. But that was a huge, Janeway moment where she was still trying to follow, whatever. How we doing, Tom, by the way? You doing all right?
Good.
All right.
No, I'm doing good.
All right.
So
next.
no. So that video that I shared with you last night about Janeway, with the guy who watched like
the Janeway Paradox. Yep.
Yeah, the Janeway Paradox and Voyager's his favorite show, whatever. He commented on how sometimes she like followed the Prime Directive and other times didn't. And when they got back, and when you get to the end of the show, she's like an admiral or whatever. She's not been
not
like,
at the end of the show. So that wasn't a movie. That was Star Trek Nemesis with mostly the Next Generation crew. But she was a vice admiral. She was a vice admiral or admiral. At the end of the show, she was. Oh, you're right. The time. Oh, I know what you're talking about. The time travel thing. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, it was a time travel thing. So I got a mouth flying around.
Yeah, I could see that.
This is going nuts. But anyways, Okay,
let me continue on for you. All right, so another episode, another big Janeway decision. Her and I guess 7 of 9, she encounters what is it called, the Omni? Oh God, I wish I could, because I'm gonna butcher this because I can't remember it exactly. It was the Borg. It was a molecule that was unstable but could offer all kinds of power, and 7 of 9 was obsessed with it. It was considered the most perfect molecule, so it was like a Borg vision of perfection. Janeway, though, she wouldn't let 7 of 9 investigate it because it was or explore it because it was what it's called, the Omnicron. Oh God, what was it?
Are we going into Transformers now?
No, it's Omna. What is the Omega? Omega. It's the Omega molecule. Yeah, the Omega molecule. I'm sorry, my Greek alphabet's all over the place tonight.
This is sounding familiar, but I still don't.
You're getting a little.
Recall the episode.
All right, let's we're getting there a little bit. So let's just come to a conclusion here on the drink. So let's go back to BuzzBallz for a second. We're agreed on 3.25. Would you say? Is that fair? 3.5, 3.25.
I might rate it a little higher, but I mean for the purpose of the show, yeah.
Sure. All right. So yeah, we'll say that about BuzzBallz. Yeah, we'll kind of wrap this up a little bit here. We're getting a little tipsy here, so we got to wrap it up a bit. All right, Tom.
So my final comments on Kathryn Janeway as a captain.
Sure.
I think I agree with the guy in the video that I shared with you. The Janeway, what was it called? The
Paradox.
Janeway what?
Paradox.
Where this is I think where I was going earlier, because people like were complaining that she's not being like uh, treated like a criminal of war because she broke
War criminal. Yep.
the prime directive. Yeah, war criminal. And but in the video, the one of the things he said was like, well, you were out in the Delta Quadrant. You had no support from the Federation, and you did what you had to get your crew home.
And even just
So
survival, even just survival in some cases,
yeah,
they just had to survive. I think the early enemy in the first two seasons were the Kazon. They were kind of like a Klingon-y, like
yeah,
they were a biker gang.
yeah,
They're a bunch
yeah.
of biker gangs. It's kind of they weren't quite Klingon, but they were the first enemy, and yeah, they had to survive against them because they were doing everything they could to try to steal the technology off of Voyager because it was more. They didn't have transporters or replicators or anything like that. So Tom, just in your own words, maybe before we lose you all the way, Tom. Don't get. Hey, it's not just you, man. I'm feeling it a little bit too. So we will say this. So
I had
word
to
of
finish
warning.
this.
Word of warning to everyone. These are stronger than you think. 15% may not sound like a lot. It will sneak up on you. Just ask Tom. Tom,
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
snuck up on? Did you get a little sneako?
No,
No.
I've had plenty of experience with these kind of drinks. So, but I will say, uh, I will say, be careful.
Yeah, be careful. And then
That I mean, because you don't necessarily. It's kind of like a Long Island with these. You don't taste the
oh jeez.
alcohol, so you might just kind of like slam it and regret it in like 20 minutes later when you're supposed to drive home.
Well,
So
everyone, thankfully, Tom is already home. He does not need to
I
drive.
for the sake of Mike's apartment, I still work from home,
Yes, for
and
my sake
yeah,
alone.
maybe in a few weeks I'll work from the same bedroom, but we'll make it look like it's a different angle, so we're not in the same place.
Strangely enough, there's another computer right over there. Anyways, all right.
Oh, we
So
could be facing back to back and pretend we don't notice each other.
that would be a little weird. All right, Tom. So let's rate before we're completely done here, rate Voyager compared to so people who are not familiar with Voyager, but they might be familiar with Star Trek. How would you rate it to like Next Generation? I know you didn't really watch Deep Space Nine, but maybe like the original series or Enterprise. Like, how would you rate Voyager? Where does it stand among the other
So,
Star Treks that were aired?
so I remember watching Star Trek growing up because my dad loved the show, and I've rewatched some
Original
of the
series,
episodes.
original series.
Yeah, the original series,
Okay.
yes. And then I do remember Next Gen came on, and they had an older captain who didn't teleport down to the planet. And I was like, well, I hate this show, but there were a few episodes in like the first season or whatever that we watched that I was like what that planet where they went to find out about this other starship that disappeared, and it turned out to be this dead planet that was selling weapons, and
Oh
then
yeah,
everybody got.
I love
Yeah,
that one.
you remember that?
And at the
Yeah.
end, they solved it by just saying, "We'll buy." We will
We'll just buy
purchase it.
everything.
Yeah, and they're just
Well,
like, okay, then they're not killing you anymore. That was a great
here's my
episode.
yeah. Here's my gold card.
my my Federation, even though they have no
But
money. Remember in the
and
Federation, there's no money. There's no currency.
and
They're
and
socialists.
I seem to remember that we didn't watch it, but I do remember watching the end of season 3 when the Borg captured Picard and turned him into Locutus, and the end of that episode being like, "Resistance is futile," or whatever.
And he like
Captain
turns, and then he
Picard
like
said.
turns his head sort of slightly, and you can see all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
technology on his face, all the prosthetics, whatever you want to call
Oh
them.
yeah,
So you're saying
but but but,
you
but
do like Next Generation better? You're saying that?
no. So it's hard to say because each show has really good qualities for different reasons. So,
Agreed.
like, part of the problem with Star Trek Next Gen season 1 and maybe even 2 was because a lot of those episodes were written by people who were born in the 30s who wrote episodes for the '60s and a lot of, and the '70s proposed reboot for the Star Trek show. But a lot of those scripts were repurposed for Next Gen season 1 and 2. So they didn't always land right
Yeah, they
because
didn't
it's
always feel,
shared.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think, so like the original series, a lot of the episodes were kind of either taken also from like the Twilight Zone, with, Rod Serling, who did like a lot of those things. They were kind of taken from that, or from science fiction authors. Like, remember Harlan Ellison, who supposedly wrote, the Terminator, and he actually wrote a lot of science fiction. A lot of their episodes was based on that, but they credited him. I think there was some kind of lawsuit with. I think Harlan was a little Sue happy. He didn't like people taking his ideas, but no, Star Trek, the original series,
I
especially.
wasn't either.
Yeah, especially at the time when that kind of money wasn't always a something you could depend on. But yeah, so I would say, so what? Okay, so we're saying you like them all kind of the same, but for different reasons. Is that what I'm getting
Yeah,
out of this, basically?
and for me, and like I said, I haven't seen all of Enterprise or DS9.
I have.
I don't remember a lot of
I
the
have.
the original series.
I'm such a nerd.
I, I, yeah, I don't have any friends that are sharing their Paramount Plus login with me anymore. So
With Paramount Plus login with Showtime. No, so you can watch that is a thing, actually. So let me kind of go over my sort of opinions here, and I have a lot too. I did not like. I'll be honest. I didn't necessarily like Voyager the first time I went through it, but I made myself kind of go through a second. I think I've watched it probably all together, maybe 4 times, but like at some certain episodes, though, I've seen like 5 or 6 if I really like them.
no.
I will say this. I know you're not a big, you're not super familiar. We might have to make you marathon it, some Deep Space Nine episodes so that we can have a conversation about it, just so you can have an opinion.
I would love to do that.
We
Yeah.
can marathon some Deep Space Nine. I would say Deep Space Nine is my all-time favorite Star Trek. It's mostly because of a certain episode, dance in the pool
I know
moonlight. Yeah, in the pool moonlight.
I know
I would
because
love you
that
to watch it.
episode was the it's a fake.
Yep. It's a fake. That's where it's a fake
Uh,
meme
uh,
came from. Yep. You have to. Well, let's not ruin it for. Well, there's no spoilers really. After
I'm
25
I'm
years.
not gonna ruin it. I don't
Really remember
whatever.
it anyways. I would say, in my opinion, though. So for my opinions, I think I like Deep Space Nine is my favorite because it's probably the darkest. It's a war. It's also, it shows, Star Trek at war. Military is one of the strong themes, and I like the characters a lot. I really like the characters a lot. Now,
No,
I like Next Generation probably next. That's second for me because that was the one I grew up on because it was, airing at the time that I was a teenager, and I loved
yeah.
the characters from that too. Then probably Voyager's my number 3 one because again, Voyager's an acquired taste. You need to watch it a couple times and really get into the characters. I would say it's like a fine wine, Tom. It's
Well,
something the more you see it, the more you appreciate it. It's like a piece of art. It's a piece of art you look at and you're like, "Oh, this is some abstract bullshit. My kid could have drawn this, thing." But after you look at it for a while, you get to appreciate it more, and then I feel like that's what Voyager needs. You can't just watch one episode. But let's throw this out there, though. If you had to recommend Voyager, and let's specifically say a Janeway episode, it can't be, another episode. If you can, and even if you can't remember the name of the episode, Tom, describe it. If you had to tell our audience right now one Voyager episode to watch with that feature, prominently features Janeway, even if you don't know the name, I'll tell. Well, I might be able to tell you the name. Which episode would you recommend? Like, what's the hook? What is the bait on Star Trek? What is the magic episode that you think would get people
So,
to watch it more, if you can.
we cut out there briefly, but I think I got the idea of your question. So,
What would you recommend
oh,
is the
so,
best
so,
Voyager?
so
If
well, I mean, well,
you had
but
to pick just one.
specific to Janeway, I want to stick to that.
Yeah, if we can.
And
Yeah, if we can.
part of that, based on kind of that video or whatever that I shared with
Yep,
you tonight.
Janeway paradox. Yep,
Yeah,
I'm tracking.
you know, I so she sometimes went against the Prime Directive, and then other times she's like enforcing it, and people are whatever, and we had the conversation about how she navigated between that because they're outside of rational whatever behavior.
Civilized.
Um,
They can't. Here's the thing, and here's the thing I would say about that too, because I think you're absolutely right, Tom. The thing is, Janeway follows her own stars, so to speak, right? Dang, you are killing it, brother. But we
no, I
probably
didn't finish it yet. I didn't
you
finish
got a
it.
little sip, you got a little drop. Save that for your dog. No. um,
She's not drinking that. She's my sober cab home.
Well, thank God one of you is sober. Now, the thing about Janeway is she always follows her own moral compass, right? She does what she thinks is right to both preserve the lives of the people on her ship and also wants to preserve the Federation values, such as the Prime Directive, which if people don't know, that's the number one directive. Oh, what do we got? We got a little fight going on for Family Guy.
Okay, sorry, go
All
on.
right, so
Sorry.
so you're right. That's always like the eternal, like, she's just doing the best that she can, and she makes mistakes, and we may not always agree with her, but she is following like her own. She follows her own stars. She follows her own compass, right? Like Janeway does, and you know what? She's arrogant a little bit. She might seem as arrogant, but part of being in command, right, is you have to be sure of yourself, and you have to broadcast. You have to people below you, like, which is unfortunately everyone on that ship they're all like ranked below, they all have lower ranks than she does. So she has to come off, confident. She has to be confident in what she's doing and what she's, the actions she takes. And she can't, to a degree, she wants input, from everyone. But at the end of the day, she makes the decision. So,
Yep.
so back to what we're saying. Can you remember, even if you don't remember like the full episode, I might be able to come up with what it was.
No,
But
the we already when we were like getting ready to prep for the video and stuff. I think we mentioned.
Tuvix was your favorite?
No,
Oh.
that is a good one.
But not your favorite.
Uh, well, no, I can't pick a favorite, Mike,
Got it.
because I have this problem with every single Star Trek show, except for maybe Discovery and Picard, which I haven't seen all of the Picard episodes. And
They're good. They're
it's
worth
same
watching.
thing with Discovery, but
The Christopher Pike ones are really good too. But anyway,
but Star Trek Picard season 3 I saw was a very good Star Trek show.
yeah.
But anyways, I think the episode I might change my mind if I rewatch
Sure.
it. But it was the episode where they found another Federation starship.
Oh, Equinox.
That was like Equinox. Yeah. Yes.
And Captain Ransom was the other captain.
Yeah. Where she actually kind of, after breaking a lot of the first contact or no Prime Directive, whatever, however many times, she was like, "You're breaking." Didn't she cite the Prime Directive to him or?
Well, the thing, it wasn't just like the Prime Directive. It was the fact that he was torturing and killing another life form that upon their deaths. So we'll kind of, okay. And you know what? I'll agree with you here. Let's cover Equinox. So Equinox was a 2-part series. I think the first part of it is she had been alone for so long out in space to find another Federation vessel. I think in a lot of ways, Janeway was excited. She could finally share the command decisions with Captain Ransom because, he was of equal rank to her. And if they had to merge, like get rid of the Equinox, which was the name of his ship, whatever. But she couldn't find out about what they were doing because they knew that she wouldn't let it. But basically what the premise of the episode is, they find this other Federation starship that's also lost in the Delta Quadrant, but they did something different. They came across an energy-based life form that upon their death excretes a type of energy that they can use to basically supercharge the warp engines. And they were so close too. They said they only needed to kill like another dozen or so, and they would have enough juice to make it back to the Alpha Quadrant. And there was the moralistic, like you said, there was the moralistic argument between them. Captain Ransom, he's like, I got to get my crew home. It doesn't matter that these life forms, are dying and we're having to torture and then kill them in order to, because there was some pain involved. It wasn't just killing them. But they could do this thing. If the shields were down, they kind of had like a teleportation kind of ability where they could phase in and out. But they couldn't go through shields, right? So what happened was this is the Janeway thing. This is the big one for this, and this is probably what you may or may not be talking about. But she had them lower she took one of the crew members who had been torturing, the aliens, and she says, lower the shields. So the shields go down, and these aliens are like attacking this guy, damaging him, and then Chakotay gets all like he's finally saying, he's like, oh, Janeway's not bluffing. She's literally gonna sacrifice these guys to make some kind of peace with the energy beings, right? So Chakotay pulls the plug on it, puts the shields back up. They go back out in the hallway. Janeway and Chakotay have this big fight, and she relieves Chakotay of command. She relieves him of command for stopping the torture of that guy. So that was a big. I think a lot of people that one. But I like your choice, Thom. Equinox is a very good character, illustration of Janeway because you really see like what she'll do. Now for me, God, like you said, it's a tough one. For me,
yeah, it is. It is.
What I like.
Every episode. I don't remember.
Sorry, I've seen them a few times. I like, oh God, my favorite Jane, I don't remember the name of the episode. My favorite Janeway episode is the one, because I think it's more of a character like building. It's not so dramatic as that. It's it's dramatic. So I think it's called The Scorpion. And this is the one where
I remember. Yes, that name is very familiar.
What she does is the Borg are under attack by this species. Species, is it 9847? 984 or 69, whatever it is, species with the number.
Yeah.
They're battling. They find what happens. What happened was this.
Oh, crap. Take my pin out of that. No, I'm kidding. I didn't say my pin. Sorry.
Thom, the charges have gone through. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I've emptied your bank accounts. Anyway, a species 984. I probably have that wrong. But anyways, what happened was this. The Borg, being the Borg, trying to assimilate every species around them, they open this gateway and go into this type of space called fluidic space, and they come upon the most superior biological life form. They have the most densely coded DNA out of any species. They're like super biological creatures. Well, the Borg try to assimilate them, fail miserably, but they've awakened the sleeping giant. So now the species is coming after them. They're opening holes, destroying Borg planets, killing Borg. The Borg estimate they don't have much time to live. Well, Janeway takes advantage. She finds out she develops a weapon using Borg nanotechnology, from 7 of 9. And Janeway she is basically this, she's trying to get across the river. She's trying to get through Borg space. So she makes a deal with them,
Oregon Trail.
Peaceful. Yeah. Oregon Trail. until she got syphilis. No, just kidding. Oregon, she makes a deal to get passage through their space in exchange for giving them a weapon to use against this new enemy. But that's not good enough. And you have 7 of 9. This is kind of the introduction for 7 of 9, because her and a lot of the other Borg go on there. Well, there's this constant, they don't trust each other, fighting each other the whole time. I won't ruin it too much for too many people. But what I liked about it was it showed something about Janeway. She was willing to take a substantial risk because the reward was worth it. Getting out of Borg space was worth, developing this weapon that for the Borg to use against this other species, and the whole, all of the moral meanderings, like, is it right to do this? How does this violate the Prime Directive? Because we're directly meddling in the affairs of 2 different alien species that are at war. That was my favorite. I think was it Dark Frontier? I don't remember, honestly, Tom, but everyone knows the episode that I'm talking about. It's a great episode, and that's just my opinion. That was my favorite one. That was my favorite.
I think you're absolutely wrong on that one.
Oh yeah?
No, I'm kidding. I love those episodes.
Yeah, they had some really good ones. So anyone watching still, we're about to close here. We hope you had a great episode. Please, it means everything to me. It means everything to Thom. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, positive, negative, doesn't matter. Send us some negative comments. We're fine with it as long as they're constructive. And then, if you have ideas,
as long as your negative comments are not about me,
they can be about they can be about Mike. They can't be about Thom. Thom is Borg perfection.
Screw everybody but me.
So anyways, all right. So again, fair warning. Be careful with these. You may be in for some really fun times, maybe too much fun times. But yeah, we highly recommend them. We recommend them. We recommend Star Trek Voyager for different reasons. We hope you like, subscribe, share, comment. And I'll get this. I'll try to get this episode posted. But yeah, we are going over time here. Any thoughts here, Thom? Before we close?
Oh, I lost it. Never mind. Right. Good night, everybody.
Yep. Good night. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Love you all.